everybody, and welcome to Bios3 Raw TV. Today we got another 5 questions. Yeah, I dig these things, I really do. From Dave, and yeah, keep these things coming because I think that this is some interesting shit. Because like people wonder things and they think they're scared to ask things, or they don't really know if they should ask things. But I'll answer anything. I don't give a fuck. So number 1, who is my all-time favorite wrestler? Okay, my favorite wrestler. When I was a kid, I used to sit with my dad on Saturday mornings and watch the WWF. And we would watch all the larger-than-life characters that were on that screen. And my favorite one that came out was Davey Boy Smith, the British Bulldog. Now, why was he my favorite? Well, first of all, he came out to the ring with a bulldog, and I didn't know what that was. I'd never seen a bulldog before. Winston and Matilda, those are his 2 bulldogs. And I asked my dad, I was like, what is that? And he's like, it's a bulldog. He's like, it's a British Bulldog. And I was like, holy shit, bulldog. I mean, that's the coolest dog I've ever seen. Just the look of it, you know, the face, the muscles. I was like, cool. And he was big, thick, strong. He looked like the bulldog. He looked like the dog. And I was like, wow, this guy's the coolest thing ever. I had the chance to actually meet and have dinner with Davey Boy Smith years later when I was getting into wrestling. It was in Boston at some hotel, and I was there meeting with a bunch of the WCW people. And I was with Rick Steiner, I think, talking to him about some angle. And Davey Boy came in, and I was really starstruck. And he sat down, and Rick introduced him to me. I said, man, I've been a big fan. I said, you know, I have a bulldog. His name was Lucky at the time. I said, and I opened up my wallet and I said, this is my English bulldog. I said, and this basically came because of you. You know, were the first one I saw. I have it tattooed on my arm. I said, you know, I totally marked out. And he just smiled and he said, really? And he opens up his wallet and he had a picture of 2 of his bulldogs that he had right then. And we started talking because we had pictures of our dogs in our wallets like they were our kids. And we were talking, he was eating wings, and I remember he took the chicken wing, and he took the wing in his mouth and just pulled the fucking bone out. I was like, I mean, he was tall. I was like, Jesus Christ. He was big, nice guy. It was towards the end of his career before he passed away, and, you know, it was an honor to sit there and shoot the shit with him. And it was based on not the fact that I was a fan and he was a superstar. It was based on the fact that we both had bulldogs, we both carried them on our wallets, and they were like our kids. It was the coolest thing ever, and I'll never forget that the rest of my life. If I had made it big into wrestling, who would be the best opponent you would want to face style-wise? Can be the same wrestler as a question 1. Here's the thing. There is no such thing as style-wise. When you work out a match, you work out a match. So who would be more of, what would be a good matchup for me in the ring? I'll be honest with you, Buff Bagwell would probably be a good matchup. When I started getting into wrestling, I had the gimmick of Lucien Bagwell, which was Buff Bagwell's younger brother. That's the gimmick that they gave me. I looked a lot like Buff. I had the same hair, about the same size. And I patterned my style after him because they wanted me to be kind of a rip-off of him. So if you had to stick me in the ring with anybody to have styles that would go, it would probably be a pretty good matchup if I get in there with Buff. I don't know if he's still the same size. I'm not. I'm fucking 50 pounds lighter. But, I mean, getting back in the ring a few weeks ago, I definitely still had those same tendencies. So I would say probably him. Number 3, who would win a fight between Captain America or Batman? Captain America's got them superpowers. Batman doesn't have any superpowers, but he's smart. He's got all those fucking gadgets. I would say the smarts and the gadgets would outdo the superpowers. I'd say eventually you tie him up with some kind of bat cable that can't be broken, drop him off a fucking cliff and sink him into the bottom of the ocean, let him stay there and rot. So I'd say Batman. Okay. Cardio or diet for abs if I had to pick one? Diet. Hands down. Diet, because I don't have to do a lot of cardio, but I got to stick to my fucking diet pretty good. Number 5, was Kevin Levrone a factor in your decision to move to Maryland from Rhode Island? No, I didn't even know Kevin lived in Maryland, to be honest with you. The whole Maryland Muscle Machine thing escaped me when I moved to Maryland. When I got here, I had found out, people started talking about, when they found out I competed, they were like, oh, do you know Kevin? I'm like, no, I don't know fucking Kevin. Kevin who? Kevin Levrone. I'm like, Kevin Levrone lives here? They're like, yeah, he has a gym like a couple miles from here. I was like, fuck. So I kept thinking to myself, I'm like, maybe I should go in there. I want to meet him. Like, by that time, I didn't know that Kevin already sold the gym. He was out of bodybuilding. He was completely retired. And we had never, that was 2005. 2008 is the first time I met him at a competition. A mutual friend introduced us. And at that point, he had been retired. He wasn't Kevin Levrone, the bodybuilder anymore. He was Kevin Levrone, the guy. That's who he was. That's how I know him. I know him as Kevin Levrone. You know, he was also in the band. He was also in that movie Redline. I mean, he's done other things, but, you know, I didn't even know that he was living in Maryland at the time. I had no idea that we'd be friends years later on. I had no idea we'd be as close as we are now years after that. I mean, that completely never even entered my mind. So that's good questions. bios3training@gmail.com. Leave comments down below, but don't fight. www.bios3training.com is a blog. It's the 5 questions answered again, Bicep, and we're out.